Are you ready, Peter?
I am. Go ahead.
Wonderful, wonderful. Do you have an opening statement?
I do not.
Thank you. But we'll move right to the questions. Peter, please tell us what are the Toastmasters International core values and which is the most important to you? What are the Toastmasters International core values and which is the most important to you?
Very good. Great question. And just as an FYI, about 5 years ago, I did have a stroke. So recalling a few things instantaneous like that is a little bit challenging to me. But what I will tell you is that my experience with Toastmasters has been all about building relationships from ground one. It's always about putting other people into the spotlight and helping them uncover their hidden talents that they don't know that they have. Getting that to show and getting that to shine.
Ready for the next one, I gather.
Yes, sir.
All right. Just give me a signal when you're done with each question. What is your marketing strategy to grow clubs online and in person? What are your marketing strategies to grow clubs online and in person?
Great question. I hope that you have all taken a look at my resume to some degree, and I have a large background in sales, specifically also in commercial real estate. What I can tell you is the Tri-County area is home to over 1,200 corporate or regional headquarters, and I know we don't have 1,200 corporate clubs at this point in District 47, period. We have a lot of companies here, and my ear is on the railroad track of companies that are coming to our area. El Al Israel Airlines recently located their United States headquarters from Manhattan to Margate, Florida. I knew that 2 years before the mayor knew that. So I'm privy to that kind of information ahead of time. With over 1,200 clubs, my plan is to go after corporate clubs. Number one, I believe that we can use the existing framework for demo teams to go out there and demonstrate. I also believe that we can bring and unify building events together to host demo team evening and invite those corporate people to our event. Somewhere in the north, somewhere in the central, and somewhere in the south of each of the counties that we have, both here in the US and throughout the Bahamas as that's situated.
What, how will you support a struggling club? How will you support a struggling club?
Great. Well, when we look at clubs, we know that there's going to be some percentage of churn. And as any business would look at, there's always, unfortunately, an acceptable amount of churn that they have to consider. Some clubs you can put a ton of energy into, and they're not going to be viable no matter what. So we have to understand that some clubs might close every year. But by doing so, we can then focus on bolstering the other clubs. The greatest way to add new clubs is by keeping as many of them as firm and pronounced and as strong as humanly possible, where they have a solid 20 to 30 members. I've always been a core believer in building a club up that high, so this way the roles aren't the same people every single week. Number one, people get multiple opportunities to get into roles. Those strong clubs build new clubs, and we don't have to worry about siphoning off people from strong clubs. There's room to build a new club and let that move forward. So throughout the whole thing, I want to see the clubs that we have. Let's get the loss, the churn as small as humanly possible, but we know it's going to be there. It's almost inevitable. It'd be surprising if it didn't happen, but get everybody else strong. And then number one, tap into the corporate headquarters that our district has. We're talking over 1,200 corporate headquarters of big companies, of massive companies. I am positive that they can use some Toastmasters. Also, with the politicians in the area, we all wish that more politicians took a Toastmasters training somewhere along the way, because it drives us nuts. Luckily, I am connected in a lot of political circles where maybe we can make that a bigger reality as well. I've got their ear, I can speak it to them, and we can put that forward. Next.
How do you get that? How do you get your team members how do you get your team rather to respond to the best of their abilities and to encourage growth? How do you get your team to respond to the best of their abilities and to encourage growth?
Getting a team to respond to its best of abilities, number one, it requires that you stand back and watch. It's not the me show, it's the can we do for them show. See what the best of their abilities are or what abilities can be developed. And sometimes those people have no idea what it's going to be. They come in thinking one thing, but then we get to see it on the sidelines